Salutations, salivators. It's Automatic for Automatic Games, bringing you yet another in a series of videos showcasing the adventures of Knight Captain Autumn Durga, our Brotherhood of Steel build for Fallout 4. Currently, Bravo Platoon's squads 5 and 6 are setting out from Coastal Cottage. Their destination? Bunker F-24, situated in the Kingsport Lighthouse area. It's about a 10-minute walk, at least at this pace, from Coastal Cottage to Kingsport, and I don't necessarily like my videos to be 10 minutes long. So we'll see what we can do about cutting down that travel time. But in the meantime, I suppose I'll take this opportunity to discuss the inspiration for this build. As discussed in a previous episode, Knight Captain Durga is an NPC from Fallout 3. A little Easter egg about her is her face. While she slightly resembles that character from Fallout 3, she definitely resembles my girlfriend and better half. Maybe that's why I play this character so often. And it's probably why I care so much about her well-being. As opposed to Hefty Satchel, well, as you know, I'll just kill off on a whim. Anyhow, I'm prone to do that. That is to say, build my characters after pre-existing NPCs. You know, and I don't think it's through lack of creativity, because I'm happy to make my own character like Hefty and name him and give him a backstory. I enjoy doing that. But, yeah, I have a much greater tendency to build an NPC. For instance, in Skyrim, let's see, some of my characters included Eric the Slayer or Cicero. I'd basically build the character to look exactly like them, go get their clothes, take their house. Of course, I'd have to assassinate them, because you can't have a doppelganger, right? But, of course, this isn't about Skyrim. In Fallout 4, some of the other characters are Jericho, who's one of my favorites. Brian Wilkes is one of them. Clover's one of them. And I don't expect you to recognize all these names, but I guess I'm just reinforcing the point that I'm much more likely to build an NPC than I am my own original content. She's going to go ahead and grab one of the sergeants here. Sergeant Mac, that should make his day. The two of them will scout ahead. If not, I mean, just to put a dent in our travel time. Meanwhile, she'll leave Knight Sergeant DeLuca in charge of the main column, and they'll certainly catch up. Now, this guy, I already mentioned that he's my take on a load lifter, but he's more so a hybrid between a load lifter and one of the robots from an old movie called Short Circuit, where the government makes 5 robots for war, and one of them develops a delightful personality, and then hilarity ensues, and then a bad sequel follows. This is that kind of story. Anyhow, I definitely derived my inspiration from that and from the load lifters. I have 5 of those robots. I tend to assign them to supply lines, if not just to see the Brahmin gallop to keep up with them. There's Kingsport Lighthouse, just over this ridge. Make sure Sergeant Mac is still with her. Can't imagine he'd stray too far. He seems to... well, he's just kind of a creep around her, constantly hitting on her. Now, I've been asked by a viewer, one of the few viewers I have, if I keep up with the DLC, and I do keep abreast of it. I'm usually downloading the stuff at midnight as it releases. You can tell from the robot that I've got the Mechanist material, and the content, what do you call it? Far Harbor content, I've got that, and I love Far Harbor. On one hand, the settlers in Far Harbor are so much more unique, just in appearance, than any of those that you'd find in the Commonwealth. In the Commonwealth, I mean, you get over a dozen settlers, and you're likely to come across one that's a twin, you know? Well, I don't know if that's the case in Far Harbor, but I do know I've seen some, with facial hair alone, I've seen some unique settlers. The other thing I love about Far Harbor is my grandparents. They lived in New Harbor, Maine, and so as a child, we'd spend summers there, and that's just awesome to me. I mean, New Harbor's quite close to Bar Harbor, so, and you'd be remiss not to visit Bar Harbor when you're in that area, so I definitely recognize it. I love that the landmass is comparable to Bar Harbor's island. The lighthouses, there's some buildings that I have a vision of them ingrained in my memory, and I don't necessarily see them in this, but gosh, they got so much of it right. There's a dead body in there. Well, it's not one of hers, though. Not a Brotherhood member. Oh, it's definitely a bunker. Much to her delight. She'll go ahead and christen this location as Bravo headquarters. Probably recall 4th Squad to consolidate her troops. That way she's got all of her soldiers within arm's reach. Looks like we've got turret defenses, electricity, bunks. There's a radio back there. Yeah, this is infinitely better than the slog. In her opinion, anyway. Well, I hope you'll pardon me for rambling on during this episode, this otherwise uneventful episode. Thanks for indulging me. The next episode, I'll try to ramp it up, but can't necessarily control what we run into. Either way, I appreciate you watching. As usual, if you like the video, like the video. If you don't like the video, dislike the video. And if you want to see more, subscribe.